I am here today to demonstrate for you how to use the JLM Diesel Intake Extreme Clean. It's a two-step process which will clean up combustion, air to intake and sticky turbo vanes, etc. So we're going to show you how to use the tool because there are a few important things to take note of when using the equipment. So we'll pop that there for now. First of all, you need to wear some gloves and eye protection for using this treatment. Check all your levels first before you start is important. We've already done this on the vehicle, so we want to keep the video a little bit shorter so you can see the important stuff. So engine oil is good, coolant is good, so everything's fine there. So before we apply the first solution, we've removed on this BMW here, nice and easy one, we've already removed the intercooler pipe. So it's important that you don't go in via the air filter or MAF sensor. You must go in after the intercooler. This will avoid any pooling of chemicals in the intercooler that may cause running away or an engine hydraulic, etc. So move the intercooler pipe and go straight onto the intake. If this is extremely badly carboned up, then you should use the JLM EGR cleaner in here to take off the excess dirt before you start, so excess carbon build-up. This one's actually not too badly choked, so we're going to go straight in with this process. Before we start, we will pull the vacuum pipe off the EGR valve. Now the reason for this is if the EGR is sitting open, then you will not have full Venturi effect there and to secure the tool into place. So we disconnect the EGR. If your EGR is sticking open excessively, then you clean with a JLM EGR cleaner, or you could also increase engine RPM by up to 50 RPM if you find that you struggle to get suction here. So next thing we'll do is we take the tool, and we've got the disc here. There's also another adapter for larger intakes, but this one will be about right for this BMW. So the suction of the engine will hold it in place, and that's perfectly fine. So like I say, if the EGR was sticking open, you may struggle for suction. So what we'll do is we'll place this over the intake. Engine's fully warm, it's up to operating temperature. So that's the tool connected and that's going nowhere. So now that this is in place, what we'll do is we'll show you step one. So we'll give the chemical a good shake. We'll pop it there for now. So we'll pour the step one fluid into the tool. Okay. So we'll now reattach the canister, the Intake Extreme Clean Toolkit Pro. So we'll connect this back up. Make sure it has a nice firm seal on there. And then let's reattach the airline. The pressure is already regulated on the tool, so you don't need to worry about excess pressure there. It's already regulated. The tap has been switched off here, so we'll now turn the tap to the on position. Now we've opened this, but the small valve on the end is still closed off at the moment, and what we're looking for is we just slowly open this, and you'll see we've made two marks on here. So what you need to do is make these marks 12 centimeters apart, and we need to count And the flow rate that we're looking for on this is very, very slow, no more than 10 seconds. So you want the fluid to be taking 10 seconds to cover this distance of 12 centimetres. You don't want it to go any faster than that. So as you can see there, very slow process. That's what we want. It's on idle, it's nice and safe. So we'll allow this to go through for the next 25 minutes or so till all the fluid is in, and then we will come back and we will show you the next stage of the process. Okay, as you can see now, the pipe's clear, so all of the step one is through into the intake now. So we'll close off the valve on the end and shut off the air supply, disconnect this, ready? And what we'll do now is we're going to turn the engine off and we're going to wait 5 to 10 minutes. I would recommend, if it's been extremely carboned up, leaving it 10 minutes. If it's fairly clean, then 5 minutes is okay. So we'll be back soon to do the step 2. Okay, we've now allowed the engine to settle now for 10 minutes. We'll switch the engine off. We've allowed it to soak for 10 minutes. So we're now going to proceed with step 2. So it's clear difference there. You can see step 2, flush fluid, diesel intake extreme clean. So we'll give it a good shake first before we start. Ready? Obviously airline off. Close. Valve off, ready? Everything's closed off. And on this step, it's a different fluid, but you're following the same procedure. So there's a little bit more of this stuff. So when it goes in, we're going to follow the same procedure with the engine running and on idle. And we'll be going for the same 12 centimetres along the pipe every 10 seconds. So it's just following the same procedure. But it's best to close off the valve and set your flow from scratch, you know. So in the instructions you will notice that it says you may need to disconnect the mass airflow sensor. That's only on very odd few vehicles, on certain makes and models. When you disconnect the intake pipe, you will have no airflow over the flow meter and it will cause the vehicle to non-start. So if that was the case right back at the beginning, you would simply unplug the mass airflow meter. That's the reason for it. So I thought we'd cover that while we're doing the video. It's not necessarily unless you have a vehicle that requires a MAF signal to start. So screw the canister back on. Again, give it a good nip to make sure it has a good seal there. And again, we'll reattach the airline. And then what we're going to do is just going to start the engine. So here we have the engine on idle, same again. We'll put the disc over the intake again. There you go. Make sure you've got a nice good fit. We'll know that that size is okay because we've already used it in step 1. So again, we've made our marks 12 centimetres apart. You will still get a little bit of residual fluid from the previous one in there, but it's fine. So again, nice and slowly. When it comes past here, we want to be around 10 seconds approximately. So we're about right there, so we're counting about 10 seconds. So, same as before, all we're doing now is we'll leave the vehicle idling, and this will take around 30 to 35 minutes. Nice slow process. We recommend keep checking back on your flow once it's stabilised, because you may need to tweak it a little bit. So once all the stages ran through, we will close off the valve, we'll disconnect the airline, and we will allow the vehicle to run for a further 10 minutes before reattaching the intake pipe and going for a road test. But we'll come back at the end of that stage and tell you what we do next. So we'll be back soon. Okay, so we're back to this now. As you can see, the step 2, the pipe is now clear. So it's all run through there now. So what we're going to do now is close off the valve, and we're going to switch the tool off, but we're now going to allow the vehicle to run on idle for a further 10 minutes before going out on road test. We're also going to add, before road test, we're going to add some of the JLM diesel fuel system cleaner into the fuel tank, and that'll help clean out injectors. And we also recommend, so what we'll do is after we're back from road test, we will change the engine oil filter, but we recommend, if we're doing this treatment to clean off carbon deposits, it's good to use the JLM engine oil flush as well before changing the oil. And obviously it's important to make sure you get the correct grade of oil and a nice high quality grade of oil like the JLM engine oil range. So if you can get one of them, use a nice quality engine oil. So we'll leave this here. On road test, what we need to do is we need to go for around 10 kilometers or 6 miles. On the initial part of the road test, we need to drive the vehicle at low RPM. So if we're doing 6 miles, 10 kilometers, so you want to go first 2 miles at low RPM, then medium part of the road test, go to mid-range RPM, so 2 to 3,000 RPM, and then on the final part of the road test, take the vehicle up to higher RPM to really clean them carbon deposits out. So once we've done that, we'll come back, recheck for any fault codes that may have appeared from having a boost pipe off or mass sensor off, clear down your fault codes, change your oil, engine oil, and that's it, job done.